Hey, I'm back. So, in continuation to the first phase of Prius Prime, I got my notes out right here. So we're going to add to this Prius Prime lineup 8 airbags. So you guys can count where the airbags are. The airbags are where they're needed. So we've got 8 airbags in there. We've got blind spot monitor. Man, if you've ever driven a car with a blind spot monitor and then you get in your buddy's car, everybody's trying to run over you from either lane because, man, you start depending on that thing. It was funny the other day, I was riding my motorcycle and I passed a car with a blind spot monitor and I saw that light go on in their mirror and I was thinking like, wow, I'm on a smaller bike, drove by this thing and that thing picked me up instantaneously. So what a tremendous feature that is. But let me go through this real quick. Toyota Safety Sense, or TSSP. And I know that you guys have been going to training on this, and I know Toyota's hammering this, but the first thing is pre-collision. So this is a feature in the car. You've got to learn how to be able to describe these features so that the customer can understand it. You can't just say it's got pre-collision because the customer's not going to look at you and go, oh, I understand that. They're not going to admit they don't know how that works. So pre-collision, what that does, it has a periphery vision. So when you're driving down the road, if somebody pulls out in front of you, a large metal object, immediately the system goes, hey, there's something in here. The first thing that happens is it decelerates the car by killing the throttle, and it arms brake assist. So that means if you touch the brake pedal, then it would be 100% brake efficiency. So what I'm saying there is somebody's driving a car, they're inexperienced, and somebody pulls out in front of them, the first thing they're going to do is pull away from the brake pedal so they don't hammer the brake pedal hard enough. This system activates brake assist. So when you go to the brake, it's 100% braking efficiency. So it's going to give you an audible tone going like, hey, quit texting, somebody just pulled out in front of you. So that's kind of the way I'm going to do it today. You can make your own spin on that. But when I said they were texting, you saw somebody's head drop. When I talked about a car pulling out, you saw a car pulling out. When I said audible tone, you heard an audible tone. So it's kind of like verbal visuals so the customer understands. So you go right now, pre-collision with pedestrian detection. So up to 50 miles an hour, if you're driving in a neighborhood and it's dark, for some reason the lights in the neighborhood are out, the street lamps, and it's extremely dark. You can't see the kids running into the street because it's night. But the cool thing about it is the iris of the camera on the car has the ability to open up and view night as day. So before your eyes could ever pick up an image of somebody running in front of you, that camera says, whoa, it starts to beep, it starts to slow the car down right there. You just saved a child's life. Should they have been running out in the street at night? No. Should they have been chasing the ball? No. But it's that one time where the car keeps you from having to go, oh man, I'm going to have to live with that the rest of my life. So that is a huge feature, but you have to make somebody understand the value of that. So you go on down pre-collision, and then you go lane departure. Man, you see it all the time. People are distracted when they drive. They're smoking, they got a cup of coffee, they're trying to put some chicken nuggets in their mouth, and oh, they got a text. I mean, I don't know how many hands you think you have, but you're steering the car with your knee, you're going down the road, and you move outside the lane. As long as the camera can pick up a solid yellow, solid white, or digital white line, if it can pick up that line, then when you leave the lane, beep, 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 it's going to give you an audible tone to look up and go, hey, you want to get back in your own lane? There are things that would make that not work. Fog. So if it's so foggy out there that you can't see the lines, slow down. Slow down, or don't go. Or if it's raining outside and the road seems to mirror because of the reflection of the water on the road, then that could keep this system from working. But when you go, the MID on the car, when you're taking a test drive, will show the customer a solid line or a hollow line, and you can tell them it's reading the lines or it's not reading the lines. Great demo with the customer. Auto high beams, man, the world's worst thing is to get blared by somebody's high beams. But you know, especially as the wintertime goes and food starts to get scarce for animals, more animals veer out onto the highway. There's more animal hits in the wintertime than in the summertime. So what happens is my lights are on bright, I can see down the road, and I can absolutely increase the safety of my car as somebody comes toward me with their lights, or somebody that's in front of me I drive up on with their tail lights, it automatically dims the light. Don't take for granted that the customer actually knows how this works. Walk them through it and make sure they understand it. And then you just keep going. I mean, it just never stops here. Full speed, dynamic radar cruise control. All right, this is the last one I'm going to do today, but this cracks me up. You're taking a demo drive with a customer and they go, the car keeps stopping. I said, well, you've set your parameters of your cruise control to 100 feet. Every time you get inside 100 feet, it's slowing you down. They go, well, I don't want to slow down. What are you talking about? You just want to drive through them? So the coolest thing about it is it allows you to predetermine how close you want to follow somebody. So as long as it can get a radar imaging back from the car in front of you, it's going to keep you in that perfect dynamic. If you set it at 65 miles an hour and they slow down to 60, you're going to slow down to 60 and mirror the perfect spacing. If they jet off to 70 miles an hour, you just resume to 65 miles an hour. If you don't explain this to the customer, the first time they experience this, they're going to be, something's wrong with the car. Why does the car keep decelerating? They're going to keep reacting and turning the cruise back on and off because they think it cut off. A couple of things. You got to use your head now. If you're driving in a driving rainstorm, there's no way that image can come back and forth between the two cars. But my question to you is, why are you setting the cruise control when you can't see the road? Drive your car, man. And the next thing is, if you're on an undulating road, so I'm driving behind somebody and they go down into a deprivation, immediately upon them going below the horizon, your car's going to assume that they turned off and you're going to accelerate, they come back up. You could be in the back of them. Once again, you're on a road that has blind spots, dips, and deprivations. Don't use your cruise control. Same thing with a corner. Once a car turns really sharp on a corner, it's going to assume that you want to speed up. Well, that's the greatest time in the world to speed up right when you're going into a hairpin curve. You know, so now you're hammering the brakes. So explain to your customers how fantastic the feature is, but also explain safety of using TSSP. Again, it's really up to you, but spend a few minutes every week thinking about how can I explain to my customer this revolutionary technology in a breakdown way that everybody understands it. Because information that's not understood, really not information. This has been the TSSP, part of Prius Prime. It's your choice. Do we sell it or don't we? Couple more before the end of the year. Remember, we are jetting right in the middle of Toyotathon. Toyotathon. Remember Toyota started years ago doing a big advertising push in the month of December when General Motors and Ford and Chrysler shut down their entire offices for the whole month of December because it was a no-sell month. Toyota led. Next week, we'll talk about Toyotathon and the history of this powerful company. KC Nix, PK52, the Saturday morning meeting.